everyone, welcome to another edition of Hashtag Tip Tuesday with Mimi. This is going to be about Craigslist and buying a used car off of Craigslist. Is it safe to buy? How do you buy it? How do you know you're not buying a lemon? I have been through the experience and I thought that I would help or pay it forward to everybody else because I went through crap to get this car that I have right now. Usually I get a question from a viewer from my blog, greatgirlinthecity.com, where I give life advice to 20-somethings out there, you know, tips and tricks I learned along my 20s. And so anyways, sometimes I like to just share my experiences rather than answering a question. So here we go. I have 5 tips for you guys that I feel like will be helpful. Long story short, I love my car. I've had it for months and months and months now, and it just worked out really well. So I might be 1 in a million, but I really feel like if you follow some of these tips I'm going to give you, you might have great luck as well. There are some people out there that are fine with buying salvage. I like to get my opinions from people that have worked in the industry. And so my one friend, she worked for State Farm for like 8 years, and salvage titles, unless you really know the person, don't go along that route, especially if you're buying from someone off of Craigslist. A salvage title basically means that the car has been involved in some type of reported accident. So it could be the smallest dent, but since it was reported, it goes on as a salvage title. Or it could be the biggest mechanical problem you'll ever face. So a lot of the time, people who have salvage titles end up keeping the car and just repairing it themselves. But there's no way of getting rid of the salvage title. It's on there. So they could have 100% repaired it, paid for all the repairs, and still have that salvage title. One thing about salvage titles is that they usually mark them down pretty low because there is a salvage title, but I would just skip it all together and try to go for a used car without that. You don't want to deal with any of those kind of problems. Not saying that everyone on there is lying, that they didn't really fix it, but you have to think about the car as a semi-investment, because cars are like the worst investment. But down the road, if you want to sell your car or trade your car in and it has a salvage title, you're going to have to deal with that. You do have to pay for the CARFAX report unless the seller of the car already has one for you, which would be smart on their end, because then they can be like boom, boom, boom. It basically tells you everything that you're going to need to know about the car that you're buying. It will tell you how many previous owners the car was registered under, how many times it was in an auto shop, how many accidents it was in, and the location that the car has been registered in. So here's an example of why you should get a CARFAX or request a CARFAX from the seller. Okay, so when I was at a dealership, in fact, a credible, a credible Nissan dealership, and I was looking at a Honda CR-V, and it was about maybe a 2000 Honda CR-V. Anyways, I wanted it. I wanted it so bad, and they had the CARFAX and everything, which was great. I think it had like maybe two owners of its whole life. No accidents. I mean, it just looked great. It checked out great. I did bring my future brother-in-law, and he came with me, and he checked the car. He saw like little bubbles or some kind of like, it was like bubbling underneath the paint, right? Some in the back and then some on the side of the car. And it was basically rust. And we're like, you don't really want to buy a car that's already rusting, right? So anyways, we looked at the CARFAX report, and it showed that one of the locations that the car was last in, it was San Diego, which is a coastal, city. Salt water, affects a car, it makes it rust and things like that. So anyways, if we didn't see that CARFAX report, or we didn't look, at the damage, that was just a clear red flag. I know it might seem like you don't want to bother the person, but you're investing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars sometimes into a car, and they should understand that. I mean, if they were buying a car, they would probably ask a bunch of questions too. So it's good to have your questions ready, so when you meet face to face with the person or talk to them on the phone, they can just answer them. Why are you getting rid of it? These are just small talk, but some of the answers might help you. Why are you getting rid of it? Have you ever changed the timing belt? I'm not really a car person, but these are things I kind of found out, in my search. I was like, oh, I know a little bit more about cars than I used to. Some cars have a timing belt, some cars have a timing chain. If they have a timing belt, you have to replace that, and if they never replaced it, that could be costly, and that could affect your budget, as far as your car is concerned. The last time it's had a tune-up, like, when did you have it last, like, taken in for like a whole inspection? And also, do you have any of the service records? Sometimes we miss it. You know, sometimes we go to look at a car, we see the physical aspect of it, we go inside, see the internal aspect of it, but sometimes we forget to look underneath the car. We're looking at a car and it looked great. It looked great, like in all those areas, inside, outside. And then he went underneath. He literally went underneath the car to like see what's going on, you know, just to see, I don't know, bring someone with you who might know. But anyways, there was a leak and he couldn't find where the leak is coming from. So he like took his finger and like wiped, and it was like fresh oil. So like something was happening. Anyways, I could, you know, that could cost you a lot of money down the road. And like I said, some of these car dealerships just sell you the cars as is. They don't really care to fix anything. They just want to get it off their lot. So if you still want to take it with a leak, it's a great way to negotiate pricing. Make sure that you take it for a little spin, you know, as long as you need to, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, you know. We did so many test drives. I mean, we drove really fast and then we hit the brakes, and that tests the brakes. Or when you drive and you let go of the steering wheel and you can see if the alignment's off, you know, if it swerves to one side or swerves to the other. So all this kind of stuff will help you in negotiating the price. Take off 50 bucks, take off 100 bucks. I'll link my blog post below where you can just read it at your own pace. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea to shop Craigslist. You know, it could be like someone like you who's just trying to sell their car. So just, you know, keep on the lookout for, you know, good sellers, you know, people that have service records, people that have the CARFAX ready, people that, you know what I mean? Also, you can usually tell a lot too by when you're talking or communicating with somebody who's not just doing it just to get all the money they can, who's willing to negotiate with you if you see certain problems. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. If you found this interesting, please share it with people, maybe people that you think are looking for cars, or on your Facebook, because you never know who's looking for a car. And also like up the video, because I'll continue to do these Tip Tuesdays if you enjoy them. And if you have any questions, just let me know below and I'll answer them for you. So, all right guys, I'll see you next week. Bye. It seems kind of flat, just letting you know, like look how flat that is. I'm like, is there anything in this bag?